Hi friends, it's Ms. Morgan here. Today we are going to be learning about multiplication. And you may already know about multiplication. Maybe you've already learned it. Maybe you feel good about it, or maybe you haven't learned it yet. And maybe you're a little nervous about it. Either way, it's okay because we are going to learn it in here together. And so, however you feel, I want you to remember to be a positive ninja and have a good attitude, because once you have a good attitude, you're ready to learn and you're confident. And just always know I'm here to help you. We're going to take it one step at a time. So the first thing I want to tell you guys at home is if you have some notebook paper like I have right here, this will be fine. Or if you have a composition book like this already at your house, this will come in handy, because if and when you come back to school, you will already have the notes we're going to take together in your composition book like we do at school. Now, if you don't have one of these at home, that is fine. You can take your notes on paper today, and then maybe later you can go to Walmart and get one. If you're not able to get a composition book, still don't freak out. Just make sure you write your notes on notebook paper or computer paper, whatever works, as long as it's neat. Make sure you keep your notes that we take, because you will need them tomorrow. You'll need them this whole week, next week, and the few weeks to come. So just make sure that you staple them, keep them nice and neat together. Like I said, it would be best if you could get a composition book, but either way is fine. So now getting on to the good stuff. First, I want to talk about what multiplication is. And you can take these notes with me at home. Okay, so first we're going to start out with the word multiplication. It is a big word. I am writing the word out. I spelled it out, and I can spell it for you guys. It is multiplication. And I'm going to underline it. This lets me know that that is what we are talking about today. That is our title, is multiplication. Now I want to talk about what multiplication is. So I'm going to write, what is multiplication? And I'm going to write that big word again. What is multiplication? And I wrote that in a sentence. This way, when I'm stuck in the future, I can come back and I'll know we're talking about multiplication. I'll know that this is what we were learning. If that's my question, I'll be able to answer it myself in my notes, in my journal. What is multiplication? That's our question. So we're going to write our answer, okay? So what we're going to say is, we're going to do a little star, because we know this is going to be our answer. Multiplication, and again, I know that's a huge word, but this will help you because you'll know exactly what we're talking about, and it will help you with spelling in the future. If you ever need to know how to spell it, it will be in your journal. Multiplication is when you take one number and add it together a number of times. So let's read our question and our answer. What is multiplication? Multiplication is when you take one number and add it together a number of times. Okay, so this is our question and definition of multiplication. Now I want to break it down for you so you know what all of that means. And if you need to pause my video to finish your sentence, you may do that. Just pause me. When you finish writing it down, just press play and keep going. Okay, so now we know our question, we know the answer, okay? So now let's actually talk about it, okay? So what multiplication is, you're going to have a quantity of blank in a group of blank. Now, what that means, quantity means the number of something. And when you're multiplying, it tells you how many groups you will need. So you'll use this in your problem, okay? So, for instance, that means, for example, if I had a quantity of 2 bears, let me make sure you can see them, 2 red bears. This is a quantity of 2 red bears, okay? Now, if I had 2 red bears 5 times, that means I would multiply them together, okay? So what I would be doing is I would have 2 red bears in a group of 5. So our quantity is 2. And if I said 5 times, I would literally put these red bears, quantity of 2, in groups of 5. So here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, and 5 groups, okay? Let me space it out a little bit better where y'all can see. All I'm doing is just moving them over. I feel like you couldn't see the rows very well. Let's see, can you guys see that better? Yes, okay, so we have a quantity. Now remember, quantity means the number of something, okay? This is a fancy little symbol that means number. So I'm gonna actually write that down so you will know that that is a fancy symbol that means number. And again, if you need to pause this to catch up on your writing, you may do so. Quantity is the number of something, okay? So we have a quantity of 2 in each group. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Our quantity is 2. And now we know that we have groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So for our notes, we are going to write quantity of 2 in a group of 5. Okay? Now, this doesn't mean these are the numbers you use every single time you multiply something. I just want you to have a solid example of what you're doing and how you multiply, okay? So our quantity is 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 5 times in a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, how we would write this down as a multiplication problem is 2 times 5 equals, okay? Our quantity was 2 red bears. And our groups, we had 5 groups, okay? This is how many times we were multiplying the quantity. That's why people say 2 times 5. Our quantity of 2, 5 times. So now to find your answer, you add all the bears together. So we're going to do that. And you can count with me at home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Our answer is 10. So again, we know that we had a quantity of 2. We know we had 5 groups. So we multiplied those together. We did 2 times 5. Quantity of 2, 5 times, all together is 10. Okay? So let's do another example. Now let's say I'm going to do multicolored bears. That doesn't matter. The color does not matter. So I'm going to do, let's say, our quantity. That means the number I'm going to use. Let's say our quantity is 3. Remember, your quantity is the number of something, okay? Our quantity is 3, and let's say we have groups of 8, okay? So we have a quantity. We're going to write this down. Underneath, we're going to write the word quantity, Quantity, quantity of, I'm going to do an underline, comma, in groups of, and then I'm going to do underline, comma, because we're going to fill that in together. And let me show you guys. And again, pause this if you need to. Quantity of blank in groups of blank. Okay? So we said our quantity is 3. 1, 2, 3. Quantity of 3. So I wrote the number 3. Now I said we're going to have groups of 8. Okay? Ooh, that 8's kind of funky. Let me fix it. Okay? So I wrote the 8 in groups of 8. Again, my sentence is quantity of 3 in groups of 8. So we know we need 3 bears 8 times. That's our fancy word, times, okay? So let's do it. We already have one group. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, and remember, color doesn't matter. So how many groups do we have? 1, 2. We got to go all the way to 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 groups. We got to go all the way to 8. 1, 2, 3. Let's see how many groups we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're halfway there. 1, 2, 3. So now we have 5. 1, 2, 3. Now we have 6. If you ever don't know how many groups, just stop and count up how many you have. 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's check our groups. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we need one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's check our work. Okay, we know that we have a quantity of 3. That means we need to have 3 in each group of 8. So let's make sure we have 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Okay, so we know we have 3 in each group. Let's make sure, we know we have our quantity of 3. Let's make sure we have our groups of 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, awesome. So again, I counted each group, okay? When you count your quantity, that's when you count how many you need. When you count your groups, that's how many groups of the quantity you have. So we have a quantity of 3 in 8 groups. So our problem, our math problem, would go 3 times 8 equals 3, this x. X means times, x means multiply. 8 equals, okay? So I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to write symbol for, here's our big word, multiplication, okay? And I'm going to do x. And then you can draw, I'm going to draw a little bubble around it. Our symbol for multiplication is an x. That means multiply, okay? So back to what we were doing. 3 times 8. Now what we're going to do now is count how many this is all together. Ready? Count with me at home. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we're going to write that number down, 24. So I wrote, we have our quantity of 3. Our sign for multiplication is an X. We have 8 groups, and that equals 24 all together, okay? So this is how you use it using counters. And at home, you don't have bears probably. You can at home use rocks from outside. You can use dry beans from your kitchen. You can use beads, buttons, anything in your room that is kind of small or in the kitchen that you can break apart and do your groups, okay? So you can practice this at home. This is how you do it with counters, okay? So now that you know how to multiply, this is our definition of multiplication, okay? Now you know that you need a quantity of something, the number of something, okay? And then you need it in how many groups, okay? And you know that your multiplication sign is an X, okay? So you know now that when you look at a math problem, you need a quantity of a number in groups of how many they tell you, and that will give you your answer, okay? Now we're going to stop this video